our universe meets us at where we really are, not where we're pretending to be. And I pretended to be a lot of places, a lot of times, and it gave me pretend miracles. Those pretend miracles were fleeting. I couldn't hold on to them, or to hold on to them, I had to work very hard and pay a lot of money and put a lot of stress in my arteries, on my lungs, against my bones. And so I just want to say to everyone listening, Makhosi and I are the embodiment of your evidence that whatever you dream is possible.
Welcome back to Euphoric Evolution, where we really explore personal transformation through an energetic and spiritual lens, where we understand that inner growth and evolution is the most valuable thing to create the reality that we desire to experience. I'm your host, Makhosi Hefisah Nejeser, also known as the Royal Shaman, and today I have the absolute pleasure of welcoming an incredible guest, Allyson Byrd, also a friend of mine. She's experienced an incredible transformation over the last year to 2 years, really since we connected, and I thought it would be so valuable to bring her on just to get some insight, number one, into her journey overall. And I know that there's going to be some key tidbits that you're going to take away from this conversation. So first and foremost, Allyson, thank you for joining me. It's an honor to have you here.
Oh my gosh, I'm happy to be here. I want to tell everybody that's listening to us, buckle up for the ride. It's going to be so fun. And, Makhosi makes me laugh in such a unique way. And so I'm excited that everyone that's listening, you get to experience our joy, our friendship, our stories, our medicine from our own lives. And so I'm really grateful to be a part of this vision that you've created for yourself. It's beautiful.
Oh, I'm so excited. I think you were there witnessing how much I wanted this podcast to come to fruition. So getting to have you here, I don't know, it just feels like a really great full circle moment. So I want to dive right in. Can you share with us just a little bit about your background and what led you to start on this path of personal growth and entrepreneurship?
I like that question so much. I wanted to save myself. That was really a big deal for me. And I felt like I needed saving. And there's a, trending term that goes around right now that says, nobody's coming to save you. And I don't like that. I don't like that people say that, because for me, when I was in those seasons of helplessness, I needed someone to show up to save me, and people did. I do believe that divine order sends humans to come get you and to help you and to say, you feel like you're sinking. Here's my hand. I got you. And that's what occurred for my life. I didn't understand science. I didn't understand quantum energetics. I didn't understand mental disorder by contagion. I didn't know any of those things. So I grew up being Black in America, not understanding. I was in systemic racism and oppression. And so I just thought that the shadows of life that I was living were a part of some destiny I didn't want to be a part of. And I just kept feeling that in myself. I don't want this. I don't want this. And someone listening, I'm sure you can relate. And I was in my 20s at that time. And one of my friends said to me, let's go to this event where the first lady of our church was hosting something. And she was a game changer, Makhosi, because she invited us that night to our first personal development workshop. And it was $400 to attend. I was 21 years old. I asked 10 people for $40 so that I could go for my birthday. I said, for my birthday, I want $40 so I can go to this thing. And my mom said, well, baby, if it's going to help you do whatever you want to do, I'll give you two $40. And so she gave me two $40. She said, just let me give you one on the 1st and one on the 15th.
When those checks come in.
Waiting on those checks to come in. And that's when I got introduced to the luxury of choice, was in that personal development workshop. I get to choose my reality. And the way that they facilitated that was through the expiration of your story. And the story that I had told over and over again was that my dad was in prison. My dad left my life, abandoned us. My mother was a struggling single mom. And I'm still telling this story to myself, within myself, at 21, going into 22. So this workshop helped me perceive. And the way they had you tell it was, you first told the story the way you believe it happened. Then you told it like a Pollyanna, like everything was perfect. Oh my God, then my dad abandoned us and it was horrible and we didn't have any money and we were on government assistance. And so you told it that way to give some levity. And then you told it in a very sad way, like the worst possible. It was horrible. And we had rats in our home. And it doesn't matter how many ways you tell that story, it's still the story. Now, will you pick up the pen and write a new one? And that's what helped me begin to shape shift, not my behaviors, but to then reimagine an identity. So everyone listening, what was my first step? It was tapping into, if I want a new reality, I've got to give myself permission to garner the skills and the ableness within myself to shape a new identity that aligns with the reality I deeply desire. And the rest has been my beautiful future.
Ooh, I love this point that you make about the skills, and also really the energetic alignment is what you're speaking to, with this identity that does experience a different reality than the story that you had been telling. I know for sure, because I pay attention to a lot of the conversations that happen about energetics. And while I know and understand the power of mindset and shifting the way that we perceive things, it also does require for us to then bring that into reality, make different decisions, pick up other skills, so on and so forth, that allow us to kind of step into and embody that identity. And in this case, we were talking about entrepreneurship. The identity of an entrepreneur required something very different from you. And I mean, holy smokes, have you embodied the identity of the entrepreneur? Little bit off track, what does the identity of an entrepreneur, like, what does that mean to you? And or do you still resonate with that identity?
I absolutely do, because to me, an entrepreneur, I will say that I do today. That could shift because you asked me a question to unlock new perspective, right? So I could have a completely different answer by 5 o'clock today. But in this moment, I feel like entrepreneurship represents autonomy. It represents that ability to do what I desire to do in the ways that I desire to do it. As a child, I hated rules because no one could ever explain the rule. And because rules are for a general populace. And I would often be like, if the rule is don't go get water between 8 and 10 in the morning at class, but I'm thirsty at 9:02, that rule is annoying. And somebody could say, but it helps to keep order. Order of what? Order of what? Like, I didn't like that as a child. No, I didn't like that imposed conformity. So for me, entrepreneurship was about, how do I be free? How do I be free with my time? How do I be free with my mind? How do I be free with my ideas? How do I be free with my consciousness? How am I free with my kindness? How am I free? Like I just gifted someone a 3-hour session with me. And that is not only financially a sizable gift, it's my energetic, because proximity gives power. And my ability to be generous and benevolent in that way, that lets me wield my God wand. And I love that. I love being God. Or another way to say that is, I love being good. I love being good. And the barometer and the metric for good is my own heart. What does my heart say? Oh, I like it. And if my heart says it's religion or obligation, I'm out. If I have to do it religiously, I can't. I don't even love bathing religiously. I love bathing when I want to bathe. And typically that's often because I spend so much time in other people's energetics. I probably take about 3 to 5 showers a day because I spend so much time in other energies swallowing it up. I'm like, let me go wash, let me go wash. So yeah, I think entrepreneurship is fun. And I think to me, people make it too hard. I did. And I think if you think of it this way, in class, when you're ready to stand up with your art project, when you're ready to go to the science fair, when you're ready to be that beacon to be at the talent show, that's what entrepreneurship is. You're ready to stand up in front of the class and say, look at me. That's it.
True story. Now, I can relate to that 1000%. Freedom is one of my core values. Literally, when I'm making decisions, I'm asking myself, am I free in this, or am I doing it because I have to or I should, versus I get to do this? And that perspective shift makes such a massive difference. Now, that's the positive side of entrepreneurship. And, for us, it's all good, right? However,
Uh-oh, uh-oh.
we can't talk about entrepreneurship without talking about the obstacles that are presented that are really opportunities. What has been one of the greatest obstacles that you've turned into an opportunity in the recent years, last, let's say, 12 to 24 months?
And my mother would be so frustrated with me sucking my teeth right now. I don't know why I'm sucking my teeth. I've been spending so much time with my 14, 15, 16-year-old inside. And she loved to suck her teeth. She'd be like, So she keeps coming through me right now. And I'm like, we're in professional speaker mode. And she's like, we talking to Makhosi. That's our friend.
Let her out. Let her free. She's trying to be free.
She's so cute. She is all here. It's so adorable. So in the last 2 years, my life has turned upside down. I worked very hard to paint a picture of perfect entrepreneurship. I worked hella hard. I aligned with the perfect mentor. Then that perfect mentor launched me into a perfect business. Then from that business, I had the most ideal clients. When I left Lisa Nichols, the first client that Lisa Nichols gave me was Sabrina Fulton, Trayvon Martin's mother. Right. And she had just come off of being on CNN with a syndicate, like a all day thing. Like this was, and she had this vision, and the people, I say, well, let's see who can help us activate this vision for you. She's like, well, Rick Ross said we can call him, LeBron James, Kevin Hart, These are the phone numbers she's giving me. This is my first project after. I'm like, Kevin Hart, Willpower Packer. I mean, and these are just heavy. Jamie Foxx. And she's giving me their cell phone numbers. Call them. They said they pay for it. And I'm like, what? And then while I'm working on that project, I'm on the treadmill, just working out, doing my thing. And the co-founder of eWomen Network calls me to ask me a question, Sandra Yancey. Big shout out to Sandra. And from that question, I land into a multiple six-figure deal, like just an opportunity of a lifetime. And this is like day one out the gate. So my mind is like, we in it to win it. Yes. And we were on path to a $25 million trajectory in 3 years. And I had secured a brilliant African-American woman who had scaled McKesson, Microsoft, all the things. She came in to be a fractional COO for me. And then another woman to be a fractional CMO who had scaled David Nagel's brand. So we were lockstep. Let's go. I ate entrepreneurship. I mean, you can hear it in my vocal texture. I loved it. And then my mother got sick. And then she died. And it was hard for me to receive this transition because that version of me, and I've never said this publicly, but you demand ultimate truth. And no one's ever asked me in this way and in this season of myself. But I was angry because I was like, I'm fucking building this future for our family. And you're going to die in the midst of me bringing the dream you could not achieve, but you gave me your all so that I could. And I am ready to give you the life of your dreams, and you're going to die. Fuck that. I was mad. I was mad. I couldn't even feel the absence of my mother for 3 years. Because I, like many entrepreneurs, had taken on the savior complex. My success must save. And that was swallowing and suffocating me, my identity, my joy, my passion, my imagination. I felt responsible, I was no longer responding to my abilities. I was swallowed in responsibility. And that's a distinction that someone listening really needs, because it's easy to fall in that paradigm. And my mother saved me by dying, because I had fibroids in my body I wasn't paying attention to. My teeth were decaying and falling out. I never had time to go to the dentist. I was making multiple six figures a month. I probably could have flown to LA and had a 1 day whatever, flown to Colombia and had a 1 day whatever. I just wouldn't give myself time. I was burying myself, in my workouts and using it as escape, because I grew up a chunky kid. So I really loved that my body was forming. And so I was just beating myself up, Makhosi. And my mother ascending changed that pattern for me, but I couldn't see it through my anger. I couldn't see it through my grief. So I just kept making choices, trying to recover. I built a tech company trying to recover, collapsed that tech company trying to recover. Thought I would sell it. I thought we would sell that tech company and exit out with $10 million each. minimum was the goal. And I exited that company by selling it to my partner and giving him several $1,000,000 because by that time it was so toxic that I had to save my energy. I couldn't save the coins. I had to trust redemption would meet me along my path. I had to. So in the last several years, I've ended the cycle of my mother's ascension. My mother has ascended now 8 years. And I say that with joy because anyone that's dealing with intense and immersive grief, it takes about 7 years to complete that cycle, to complete all the waves of emotion that come with it. I had anger, I had betrayal, I had rejection, I had so much mixed in it. And we had healed those wounds together, several of our mommy wounds together, but I hadn't healed my daddy wound. So, so when that cycle began to end, then that threw me into choice, but I didn't see it and I stayed in work. And that's when I entered the void and I had no idea that that's where I was. My spiritual sight line couldn't see it. And I reached out to you and I said, Makhosi, I am in this horrible purgatory. Like it is just this middle ground of just enough. I had just enough to eat, just enough finances, just enough, but it wasn't opulent. It wasn't abundant. I felt constrained. I couldn't see. My feeling felt pinched off. And it was your wisdom that helped to guide me to say, you're in the void, let go. And then I said to you, okay. Then I came back. How do I let go?
What is this foreign concept, let go and surrender? What is that?
And then I was like, okay, got it. Then I came back. Hold on. I'm a Gemini. I'm a manifesting generator. I have to know what's on the other side of this surrender. And you said to me, you are going to have the life you always dreamed of. That's what's on the other side. So if you want that, if you want more of what you've made, what you've manipulated and called manifestation, sure. You already know how to do that and you can go back there. Or you can go into the highest consciousness that is available for you. And that comes through the void. And I was like, oh, well, here we go.
Buckle your seatbelt. You know what it reminds me of? I went to, I had this incredible experience. I brought my mom and my grandmother down just about a month ago, and we went and spent some time at Disney. We went to Universal Studios, and the imagination, the dream of what that was going to be was very different than the reality of it. So we had a great time, mind you, but just family dynamics. The reality of it is very different than the dream of it. But this conversation reminds me of going on this ride. It was I think it was in Universal, like this 3D Spider-Man ride. And you get in the vehicle and it's inside of a building. And you know that you're safe, you know that you're contained, right? But you can't see in front. You can literally only see like just a couple feet ahead of you. And you have to, if you want to actually enjoy the process and get through it, you've got to, in some ways, surrender and let go. And then by the end of it, it's been this incredible ride. So can you share a little bit more about what was the void like for you? And how do you see it differently now?
Okay. Oh, there she goes, sucking her teeth again. Sweet girl. She's like, I'm here. I'm in the conversation. And for anyone who doesn't know, in public speaking, one of the things that you expire very early in is sucking your teeth, because a lot of people do it. And it's just, right? And so you expire and you learn to quietly part your lips and give yourself permission to speak. So that's what I'm referencing. Let's see. So I want to set everyone up to say that the void as I know it today is drastically different as I knew it in the midst of it. And the word choice in itself sounds scary as I don't know what. And today I love the void, like love the void. And I know how to inspire and receive the void now. But when I was going through it, hella no. So when I went through it, what happened? The first thing that happened is I started to feel things were falling away, but nothing was falling away. I could just intuitively sense it. So I thought it was my fear. So I began to activate control. So I started going in and checking in with everybody, but they're about to go through their own experience. So they're answering you as honestly as they can. So I asked my romantic partner, babe, like, I know you're going through grief. His mother had just ascended. I know you're going through grief and but maybe if we do these things. So I brought in someone that could take us through plant medicine journeys, and again, control. Let's control it. My nephew, I could feel him falling away. I'm like, nope. Control. Hey, baby, what if I put you in acting class and this and that? And what if you do this thing and this, and I give you this money and this? Oh, okay. My man's here. My nephew's son is here. Oh, then I had a PhD student that was living with me to finish her PhD. She finished it. It was time for her to fly. Nope. Hey, what if we get a bigger house? And I'm going to get a house with private access garage for you. Makhosi, this house was like 6,000 square feet. And in California, like, unnecessary financial burden, unnecessary. And I'm like, we're going to get it. And there's a garage on the side, a 1-car garage. You can put a science lab in there. Like, I'm controlling all the pawns. I felt my staff begin to fall away. And what I mean by that was energetically, I could feel the void coming. And the purpose of the void is to answer your prayers. The purpose of the void is to help you let go of overextension, obligation, overwhelm, all the O's, and to bring you into a joygasmic life. And I had a life that I had to work for and work to keep, work to maintain, work to hold up, and was wondering why I was too tired to make love, too tired to go on vacation, too tired to like my vitality, my life force was gone because it was dedicated to work. And I thought that was the way. So then I went to my staff. Hey, y'all good? Went to my senior team member. You know what? Let me hire you an expensive coach and let me get them to work with you so you'll stay. Like, I was just so afraid, Makhosi, for things to change. Yet I was praying, God, divine order, cosmos, enlarge my territory. Let me be in highest service. I am open and available to be used by the divine. Let my voice be elixir and my words be medicine. Bring me to the stages, the platforms that I am meant to be on, the parts of the world. Like, I am praying this, but wanting everything to stay the same.
And it does not work that way.
It does not.
Not at all. I love this so much because what really brought me into this work, well, number one was my own experience. And also I kept seeing this pattern where there were those of us who are incredible entrepreneurs, leaders, what other people call high performers and high achievers, right? Most of us went through this experience of having a story that kept us victim to whatever our circumstances were, right? Whether that was our race, our gender, where we grew up, who our parents were, etc. And through spirituality, through personal development, some through religion, some through relationships, we begin to have this awareness that actually I am the creator. I am the creator on this plane, made in his, her, its image. And so I can create, I have the power to create what I desire. And then we go about creating the life that we think we want. We end up creating businesses, relationships, opportunities, really from the mind. And as an extension of that, really from the ego. And what I saw happen, and I'm still seeing it happen all the time, and I know that this happened with you, is there comes a point where, like you said, you needed saving, and you saved yourself. And with that also took this idea of, okay, now I'm responsible for saving others with what I've created, with what I've built. And we think that that's it. We think that that's like the extent of our potential. And yet, when we give ourselves permission to surrender in the void, to let go of the things that are trying to fall away or are not coming into fruition in the way that we thought they should, or in the timing that we thought that they should, that opportunities start to show up that grant us the space to step into the fullness of our essence, our authentic expression of divinity that each of us is here to be and called to be. What we're really speaking about here is a calling that is your ultimate legacy. And it comes from who you be, who you embody on this plane. I know that through this experience that you've had, there's been incredible things coming into fruition that you are birthing. Can you share with us a little bit about what is coming through you now, and what is that connection that you see with the void being necessary for that to come through?
I'll answer it in a very Allyson Byrd way. Very, very much me. You know, when I reflect on everything that I was rallying together, rallying the miracles. Come on, miracles, come be my miracles, you know? Come on. When I look today, my nephew is not living with me, thriving in his acting career development, honoring his path, working with a deep coach to heal his own relationship with divine masculine and divine feminine. And doing that through a relationship that I introduced and used to pay for. But what happened when I went through the void, I found out that my nephew was resenting my financial support. So my money was going to resentment. So it taught me that whenever I gave money and give money now, I ask the human that's receiving it, is this joy for you? And if it's not, how can it be joyous, abundant, screaming, laughing, giggly, like I love it, I love it? Or does it feel like rescue? Because if it feels like rescue, you will resent me. And that means that money drops into nothingness. And that's harmful to both of us. So that's awareness there. My former romantic partner, he and I are now the best of friends. Like, not let's get back together, friends, friends. He revealed to me that he was walking through tremendous bouts of insecurity, that I was a woman dream manifest come true. And when I showed up, he was like, ah! And he loved it, loved it, loved it, and felt like he could sustain in the union until his mother ascended, cracked open that mommy wound, which we had already identified in the union. So we knew it was there and we were ready to do the work. We just didn't realize the work would come in the way that it did. So he did not reject me or leave me. The law of attraction answered my prayers. And my prayer was, whatever is mine, let it be mine. And whatever stays mine, let it be the path of least resistance. He entered a resistant path of grief and loss. And so that was big awareness to say, wow, I wasn't rejected, I was answered. That was a big takeaway. In my career, I realized that that savior energy was inside of my relay with my clients, that it was very subtle. But if you leave your apps open on your phone, you might not be using them, but they still use your battery.
Ooh, say that again. Oh, oh, oh. What a great metaphor. Because that's really how it is.
Mm-hmm.
If you leave your apps open, you might not be using them, but they still drain your battery. I feel like we could just end it right here. Drop the mic. Oh my gosh. Oh, so good.
Yes. And so it was leaking into my clients, and I was wondering why my clients weren't renewing, why my clients were feeling sensations of dissatisfaction, lack of fulfillment, and not perceiving that they were reaching that next level. And it's because they were waiting to be saved. They didn't know it, but it was the energetic that I had put in the space. And because most of us carry those energetics, well, it amplified. So once that energetic met, the law of fellowship enacted, which means the law of fellowship just very simply says, when two like energies come together, they become more. So then my clients were recurring, and I am a high ticket coach. And we rely, because we're deep coaches, we know our clients are going to stay with us 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So we rely on not going back into the marketplace to sell, because client renewals just come. They were not coming. They were not coming. So this was $35,000 a month client gone, $40,000 a month client gone, $50,000 a month client gone, gone, gone. That's a lot of money. And I had a lifestyle that relied on that money, and that's when I was able to see that the void was helping me to expire the energetic of greed and excess. And I needed greed to get out of my life circumstances in my 20s, but it stayed with me for 2 decades too long. You need greed to think that you deserve more. You need it to get that grit. Rah! No, I'll take more. You need it. But once you get it, you can let that energetic go. I needed to expire frivolity. I remember not having enough money to go into Target and buy whatever I wanted, a chapstick, a this, a that. Obviously, you can tell the age of that desire, right? A chapstick, right? And so, and then before I knew it, I would go into Target to get a shirt and come out with like $1,000 in stuff because the energetic of greed and excess and, I want it and I want what I can have. It was stuck. And the void is basically, this is how I tell people the void is. I say, and this is so funny, Makhosi, I am not an expert on the void. Makhosi is. You literally were the guiding voice. It was like you were on the outside of the voice, like, keep surrendering. You got it. I go, I don't got it. Yes, you do.
Listen, Morgan Freeman might be God in everything. I'm shooting my shot to be goddess in everything.
Yes.
Just the voice.
You
Keep
were
surrendering.
Let go more. It's like, what? And so I tell people that the void is like an old school car wash. Remember the old school car washes with the brushes? And when you drive in, it tells you drive in on this track, put your car in neutral, and don't do anything else. And your car just moves and the car gets cleaned. But here's the thing. For me, I was like, let me get out the car while this is happening. So imagine you're in the brushes. Like I was like, the purpose of the void is to be in neutral and to stay inside. I got out and start walking. Soap is in my eyes. And I'm looking, where's Black Jesus? Is Black Jesus in here? I'm calling religions I ain't never even studied. Krishna, Buddha.
Oh, man.
And here's the fun part about that analogy. If you remember when the car comes out, you're not finished. There's a big wind tunnel you go through at the edge that makes sure you get all dried off. So here I come getting out the car in the midst of the void, and I'm walking and I'm going to the edge, and then the wind tunnel comes and I'm like, And what that looks like is control. It looks like I want to control. It looks like I want to know the outcome. It looks like I want to know what I know instead of being the mystery of the beauty and the magic and the magnificence. And I must say, after going through the void many times over, never knowing what it was until now, the void is my friend. It is where you garner your vision, your vitality, your vivaciousness, your willingness to be more and all the crevices of your selfness. And then the magnetism that comes with it. My life is barely recognizable. And I love my reality today. My relationships are easeful. They're aligned. My finances feel at peace. My high ticket coaching had gotten so high that I felt I had to manage the expectation for that. And I had started to feel obligated to a certain lifestyle to qualify for that amount. What bag am I wearing? What shoe am I wearing to my client dinner? What this? A client's paying you 30, 40, $50,000 a month. I started to feel like I had to look the part to maintain the role. And so I couldn't just be myself. And that was exhaustive. And I hope that anyone through my story share that you don't take away from it that ambition is bad. It's not bad. You just want aligned ambition. And success is not a straight line. It's a beautiful, beautiful journey. And I honestly would live those realities all over again 10 times over to live the truth that I live today. I would live it 10 times. I would lose the relationship again. I would be afraid again. I would scream and cry again. I would think I was going to lose my mind again. I would think I was going to lose my status again. I would do it all over again for the peace that is Allyson Octavia Byrd today.
Whew. It sounds like you have a very different relationship with abundance now, where I see so many people. You brought up the words greed and excess and frivolity, and frivolity, frivolousness.
Both. They're both
Frivolousness.
great words. They're
Both
both
are
great
great
words.
words, right? I'm like, wait, is
Yeah.
frivolity? Okay, that's an
Yes.
actual word. Anyway,
Yeah.
um,
And you're a goddess, so you can make up words. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I'm just gonna, even if it's not, I'm
Yeah.
gonna claim it. But so many people associate abundance with really just having a bunch of stuff, right? And just getting more stuff.
Stuff.
What is your relationship or understanding of the truth of what abundance is? At least for you, might be different for someone else, but what have you come to understand about abundance now?
I'm gonna answer that and tie in and answer from the previous question that I bypassed. I didn't mean to, which is what has birthed out of me after coming through this most recent experience with my void. And I love calling, her my void, because you really are in the womb of God. That really is, you're in the womb of God becoming something new. And, a surrendered void typically happens in the same amount of time it takes to have a baby. Takes about 10 months, a surrendered, if you're surrendering in it. Now it could go years, but it takes a minute. And somebody could go, I don't want to go through a year of icky. It sounds icky, but now that I look back, it was, and I know I screamed and cried many days to you. But it just wasn't. It just, it's just a womb is one way that I do want to leave that code of that word, of that safety in the space. And that's what has led me to create Spotlight Energetics, which is this new methodology and these codes that divine order has allowed me to receive based on my surrender. And to answer your question about how do I see abundance, it's Spotlight Energetics. It's your willingness to be a catalyst for others by being a channel for your own path. And that allows you to be a conduit, inside of the world. And you could call that a career, a speaker, a coach, a music artist, a creator, an author. It's called many different things as far as how you name the career you choose, but you're willing to be seen in front of the class in all of it. You're willing to be seen in front of the class. And when you do that, divine order says, oh, you want to tell the truth in front of people? What else you need? Because here's the truth. It ain't a lot of people telling the truth in front of people. So there is a harvest beyond harvest if you just want to stand up and tell the truth. And that truth is in service. And so I live my life inside Spotlight Energetics. When I get in my car is safe. It is carried by the spotlight. When I get on the street, lights are green on green on green because my path is easeful. When the light is red, it's my moment to be with divine. Oh, my light is red. Yes, What is it I'm meant to hear? What is it I'm meant to receive? What is it I'm meant to know? I had a friend that just launched a business, and they said the trajectory of the business is this. We'd like to give you shares if you're willing to do this thing. This thing is what I am the best in the world at. So basically, they're handing me $3 to $5 million. Then they said, we'd love to get together and talk about it. What do you think about if we go to a fun location and do it? And I say, sure. Then a friend of mine calls and says, hey, I just got a 4-bedroom spot in Mexico. Want to come down? I tell my friends, hey, y'all want to go to this spot? It's all taken care of. Everything's done. And so when I used to be in abundance, it was, what can I earn? What can I work for so that I can get the things that I want? I love Yves Saint Laurent. I don't go to Yves Saint Laurent anymore. Why? Because one day I went to the door and there was a huge box, not one, not two, but 3 Yves Saint Laurent boxes there. What happened? Someone sent me Yves Saint Laurent. I got to tell you, I've made a lot of money and I have loved going in, pulling out that credit card, but nothing feels as good as when it just randomly shows up at your goddamn door. Are you kidding me? Then I'm like, look at my Forbes feature. That Forbes feature cost $5,000. That cost $5,000. My USA Today feature, that costs, I think, $2,000. Then I get a call from my legacy client who co-runs a lot of Tony Robbins events and launched a major part of launching his feminine focused brand. Hey, can you come speak on Tony's stage? Not once, but twice. And this time, can you follow Tony? Like, now you're actually going to share the space with him. Listen, I was very excited that I had the money to pay for Forbes. Very excited when it came out. But nothing is like your phone ringing. Hello, Tony Robbins stage. Why, yes, I'm open and available for that. I will receive. Thank you, divine order. And that is abundance to me. I didn't know in all of my years of teaching money, in all of my years of teaching opulence, luxury, in all of my years of teaching the power of choice, I didn't know that this dimension was here. But it takes the next generation like you. You're 10 years younger than me. I activated Lisa's awareness, Lisa Nichols. I am 10 years younger than her. You activate mine. It takes the next generation to go, you calling that easy, but that look hard.
Like, wait, you wanted YSL and you like got in your vehicle and like drove to go buy it and like used your money for it? That seems like a lot. Oh man.
So today I teach humans how to thrive in the spotlight. Don't be afraid of speaking your truth. Cancel culture cannot come to you. It cannot. To allow yourself to be a medicinal instrument by using the story of your life to heal others. And that to me is a dream come true. And I feel like I'm in a hammock of safety. Even it doesn't mean my life is perfect. It's not perfect at all. I'm healing my relationship with my oral health right now and getting my teeth like taken care of after years of being in poverty and not learning it as a habit and a routine. And then after that, years of being in overwhelm all the things and not creating the space. I've learned that I have a superpower when I get scared of burying myself in my body. And I do that by gaining weight and I hide. And so now that I've learned that I'm a dynamic shapeshifter, I can use it in other ways that don't harm me. So you start to learn all your powers. I've learned that I do love to save. And so if I can just ask divine order to give me little sprinkles of it, because I love it. I grew up a Jesus girl. Jesus was the savior. So I asked for little sprinkles of it. Someone on the internet just said, "Hey, I'm visiting Vegas." And I said, "Oh, do you want to stay with me? Can I mama bear you?" And they said, yes. They were coming from Egypt and this place and that place. So I had jammies and, you know, like I'd wash the towels so they smelled so good and their favorite snacks. And I got to save for 2 days. It was amazing. So I have learned that all the things that we want and we desire, it's all possible. It's just awareness around whether or not the way that you're living the possibility currently is serving you. Because if you're having to hold it together with a hot glue gun, with duct tape, and taking the gum out of your mouth and sticking it in there to keep it, that is not a manifestation. That is a mess.
Mm. Mm. Amen. It is not a manifestation. It is a mess. Oh, that's so good. So, so good. Allyson, I just want to thank you so much for being so open and raw and real. And I know that I want to honor your time. We've been diving into a lot here today, but before we sign off, is there anything that's left on your heart that you really wish to have just a few minutes to express?
Hmm. I would say that life is always asking you one very consistent question. And that question is, what do you really want? And our work is to, as Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true. And most of us have been programmed and coded away from our truth. For many of us, in order to walk the bridge from what we've known into what we believe and imagine is possible for us, we must walk through one of the most terrifying yet liberating corridors of reconnecting to who are you? Who were you when you were 3, when you were 4, when you were 5, when you were 6? Who were you before a teacher told you what you couldn't do? Who were you before a kid made fun of a gift that was safe at home, but it wasn't safe on the playground? Who were you? Who were you before daddy abandonment, mommy abandonment? Who were you? Like, who are you at your core is what we're always being asked, because our universe meets us at where we really are, not where we're pretending to be. And I pretended to be a lot of places, a lot of times, and it gave me pretend miracles. Those pretend miracles were fleeting. I couldn't hold on to them. Or to hold on to them, I had to work very hard and pay a lot of money and put a lot of stress in my arteries, on my lungs, against my bones. And so I just want to say to everyone listening, Makhosi and I are the embodiment of your evidence that whatever you dream is possible. Our stories are ridiculous. Like, we just went through some of the most ridiculous stories. And here we are living in this realm and thriving. And we don't say that in any way to boast. We say it to be in service. And so I'm very grateful for this moment of service, this moment of honesty. I pray that the words that we shared inspire vitality, inspire alignment, and inspire truth, because those 3 things will take you to those are the best transports. That is first class private jet travel in the quantum realm and in energetics. And I wish that for all of us.
Mm. So good, so true. Allyson, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your incredibly inspiring story and all of your insights, your knowledge, your embodiment. with us. Your journey really is a testament to the power of transformation, to the power of embodiment, the power of energetics, and also the role of mentorship and relationships. It's incredible for me to have been a part of your journey, even in some small way. I say that not as it being a small thing, but um, you're just getting started. You are just getting started. You've already accomplished so much, but by now walking in your essence, the doors that are going to be open for you, the opportunities, the people that come in your path will be forever changed. And it's just an honor to witness.
Mm. And I have to say in response to that, I have to say in response to your words, thank you for being a queen that fixed my crown when no one was watching. You held my hand in one of the scariest portals of my outer world reality, and no one was watching. You answered text messages and made space for phone calls on vacations and date nights and all kinds of things in my like, Makhosi! And I'm so grateful for that because you are royalty. You are royalty not by naming convention, you are royalty by embodiment. And I am so grateful that you saw my crown and you saw it crooked and you said, I got you, girl. And I will forever remember that.
Aw. I'm going to fully receive all of that because I know, number one, that it's truth. And as you see me, I see you. And with that, I just want to say to all of our royals listening that every single one of you has incredible potential to embrace your limitlessness and really live a life of awakened abundance. So be sure to stay tuned for more episodes of Euphoric Evolution, where we are going to continue to explore these paths of personal transformation and limitless living. See you next time.